I just came back from watching the Infinity Castle movie, which I went to see right after learning who the upcoming DLC characters are gonna be for Demon Slayer 2. So during the whole movie, every time one of those characters showed up, I was legit going, oh, that's gonna be a move in the game. And so today, what I'm gonna try to do is predict how every one of these characters is gonna play based on what I remember them doing after watching the movie only once. But first, if you missed the news, Muzan will be available to play for free later this month. And then the paid DLC characters coming out afterwards are gonna be a new Tanjiro, a new Zenitsu, a new Giyu, a new Shinobu, a new Akaza, as well as Doma and Kaigaku. Shoutouts to Unplugged Media. That means we are getting 7 new characters, the exact same number that we got in the first game with the Entertainment District pack. But I'm hearing a lot of concerns, since 5 of these 7 characters are variations of existing ones in the game right now, and I wanted to give my quick opinion on that. If we look at Hinokami Tanjiro and Entertainment District Tanjiro, they are what we call an echo character. They have the same basic attacks, they share the same grab. The thing that distinguishes them is mainly their special moves. But if we look at Water Tanjiro next to Hinokami Tanjiro, these two are completely unique characters. They share absolutely nothing in common except for their name. I personally don't mind that we're getting characters that already exist in the game as long as they behave as unique characters. But just because they have a parenthesis in their name doesn't mean that they're automatically echo characters. Swordsmith Village Tanjiro is a brand new unique character to Demon Slayer 2. He is no one's echo. That said, if we look at Demon Slayer 1 DLC, 3 of the characters they released were actually echo characters, Tanjiro, Zenitsu, and Inosuke. So I do expect some of these to be echo characters this time around as well, but it would be a major bummer if all 5 of them are echoes. If I were to choose which ones become echo characters, I would probably pick Tanjiro, Giyu, and Shinobu. Tanjiro can be an echo of Swordsmith Village, who has no echoes right now. Giyu and Shinobu only have their academy counterparts, so it wouldn't be that bad either. If they choose to do Zenitsu though, that's gonna be the 4th Zenitsu echo character in the game, and that's why I'm hoping Zenitsu is brand new and completely unique. And with Akaza, we just haven't seen demon echo characters yet, so I don't know if they would actually do that. Since they would still have to create new demon skills as well, it feels like it saves them more work to reserve the echo characters for the Slayers. But anything's possible right now. These are just my thoughts and this is pure speculation. But how will these characters play? How do their skills define their playstyle? Let's start with Tanjiro. There might be movie spoilers from this point on. I'm gonna talk about moves they do in the movies, so watch out. For most of the movie, every time Tanjiro did a move, it was something that we already have. I was basically watching him do move after move and just going, that's Entertainment District, that's Swordsmith, that's Water Tanjiro, that's Hinokami. I really didn't see a reason for them to add a new Tanjiro as DLC until he decided to ascend to the next level. When Tanjiro unlocks the transparent world, his eyes start glowing, his Demon Slayer mark grows, and his whole demeanor changes. It reminded me of that Entertainment District moment where he suddenly gets a huge surge in power and becomes almost unrecognizable. And I could very easily see him being in that state the whole time he fights as this new DLC character. I think this character has to be very calm, but very explosive. A little bit like Giyu is right now. I think Giyu's moveset is characterized by being able to do Dead Calm or Warrior Dragon, which are more or less stationary abilities, and that makes the character feel like he's very chill while dealing a ton of damage. But also, that water wheel can just suddenly jump at you, and that's where the explosiveness comes from. This Tanjiro is calm, but fast. He doesn't waste any movements when he strikes, but he goes quickly for the kill. That's the kind of character I'm expecting. No huge moves, but very quick moves. And next we have Zenitsu. And here I'm expecting him to be a little less linear than he usually is. First of all, I hope 7th form is something we can actually play with and not just be an ultimate, but I can also see him being a bit trickier with his first form of breathing rather than just always shooting in a straight line. I could see him try to juke you or attack you from behind or baiting out moves by dashing in quick succession. Let me use Vi here from 2XKO as an example. She has this dash that I can link into a punch, so let's say this is Thunderclap and Flash, the linear one. But then she can also dash twice in a row, baiting opponents' buttons. Or imagine this move in an arena, using it to dodge assists, getting into the opponent's back and mixing them up that way. I can see this Zenitsu bringing this kind of trickery into the game. A bit like Gran Torino in One's Justice, if you'd like an example in an arena fighter. Giyu will be very interesting. I think this version of Giyu will be a lot more aggressive, a lot faster as well. I don't think we're gonna have those long moves like Water Dragon, for instance. If he has that calm, I think it's gonna be completely different. Might not even be a counter anymore. Could be maybe a barrier of sorts. He does use it a lot in the fight. But other than that, his water breathing moves are gonna be a lot faster. He might have a form of Ripple, which right now the only ripple we have in the game is Makomo's grab, and this could be a wide-hitting attack, a series of thrusts, almost like Akaza's tilt skill, but with sword stabs. That said, he might actually be an echo character, which means he's still gonna have that very long jumping attack, which I'm not a big fan of. The good news though is that he keeps his grab and his heavy attacks, which are very good in my opinion. Shinobu has the potential to have an incredible gimmick if they finally do poison right. I could see her having a move that poisons the enemy, and after doing so, having the option to sheathe her sword while she mixes her poison formula. So you would kind of level up your poison each time you apply it to the enemy, which means she could start by dealing very low poison damage, but then snowball like crazy as she gets more and more poisons. She's also going to be a very fast character. Doma spends the whole fight glazing her speed. She'll probably also have a quick thrusting move instead of the current one where she dashes, like she kind of jumps back and then goes forward. I think she's going to be a lot more direct now. So with those two gimmicks, I could see Shinobu finally being a threat. But if she's an echo character, she's still going to have that slow air dash. No one likes that. And that's the 4 Slayers they're going to be releasing. Do keep in mind that even if they are echo characters, a single solid assist can change the game entirely. I mean, just look at ED Zenitsu. It's insane what one skill can do to the whole game. But let's move on to demons, starting with the new Akaza. I think he's still going to be a really fast character. I think he's still going to be jumping around a lot, but I also saw a couple of moves that might end up defining the character. First of all, he uses his feet a lot more than his hands in this fight, so his specials are definitely going to reflect that. I don't think that changes him too much. I think he's still going to be a rushdown character, but this time around, he's a rushdown character that might have huge projectiles to back him up. Not small projectiles like the current air types. When I saw Akaza throw these huge red projectiles that were moving slowly through the stage and he's running behind them, approaching the opponent, I said out loud in the theater, oh no. So yeah, I don't think the archetype will change that much, but he will have different tools, which will make him feel like a different character. And if those huge projectiles are in, and he can throw them and then move behind them, we're all cooked. And then we have 2 brand new demons with no reference behind them, but from watching the fights, I think Kaigaku is not going to be zooming across the stage like Zenitsu, despite him being a thunder breather as well. Instead, I think his attacks are going to be huge thunderstorms. Not fast thunder, but big thunder. Kind of like Zohakten, but instead of a projectile thunder, it's a melee ability. I also think it will probably have some abilities that deal lasting damage or have a lasting effect, because by mixing his blood demon art with thunder breathing, Kaigaku's attacks can crack the opponent's flesh while burning it. If this translates to just poison damage, I think it will be a bit boring, but if they can figure out a new debuff to apply to an opponent, maybe something that stuns them after a delay or something like that, I think that could be an interesting gimmick that makes the character very unique, and I think we'll definitely see something of the sort with his demon skills. Other than that, expect big, powerful attacks, but not the fastest of characters. Last but not least, Doma. He's gonna be so unique. Doma uses fans to attack, and his blood demon art is ice. Fans and ice. Where have I seen that before? I think we can expect some huge attacks from Doma as well. His normals might not be that big of a deal since the fans are not a weapon with a ton of reach, but his skills are probably going to be huge. If he's going to be summoning ice with every swing of his weapon when he uses skills, then you're looking at a mid-range sort of character that absolutely dominates in that space. Think Byakuya using his Bankai in Bleach. Byakuya's hands don't have a lot of range by themselves, but the flower petals follow the hand's movements. That's going to be the ice following Doma's fans. And what's interesting about this is whether or not they'll create a unique freezing effect for enemies that are getting hit by these attacks. Will he actually be able to stun opponents, freezing them in place with certain skills? That would definitely make for a very tricky character that would thrive off of setups and resets, and personally, that's what I'm hoping for. And those are the Infinity Castle DLC characters and how I think they will play in Demon Slayer 2. I think watching the movie really helped me get a more solid idea of what to expect from them. But it did make me question how the hell is Muzan gonna fight? Cause he's barely in that movie, so I think they'll have to make up an entire moveset for him. According to this early scan, the version of Muzan you're gonna be playing as is gonna be this one in full Michael Jackson drip. There could always be a slight form change once he goes into Surge, but the scan doesn't really say that or get into any specifics at all. But as far as this moveset goes, I'm gonna leave this one to you guys. Let me know in the comments below how you think Muzan is gonna play in Demon Slayer 2. And we'll check if anyone got it right when he comes out later this month. And for more anime games, you can check out this video right here. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.